You've been taught to focus on your face, your body, your outfit, but psychologists confirm the most attractive trait has nothing to do with how you look, and once you understand it, everything changes. For most of us, attraction has always been tied to appearance. From the moment we were old enough to notice attention, we were told, directly or indirectly, that the way to be desired was to polish, improve, and perfect the way we look. We bought into the idea that if the right person saw the right image of us, the connection would naturally follow. Yet, the truth is far more complex, and the science behind it reveals something completely different from what we've been conditioned to believe. In fact, what psychology shows is that physical beauty does hold a certain pull, but only for a fleeting moment. It draws the eye, it creates that initial spark, and it may even spark interest at first glance. However, interest and deep, lasting attraction are not the same thing. One is surface level, sparked by the senses. The other is embedded much deeper, formed through the way a person carries themselves, treats themselves, and moves through the world. In this regard, it is important to dismantle the lie we've all been sold. Society sells beauty as the ticket to love. This is reinforced through movies, ads, and even casual conversations where compliments almost always focus on appearance. It's easy to believe that if someone could just look a certain way, they'd unlock a new level of attention and affection. Beauty, as it's marketed to us, is the currency that buys connection. Yet, science shows beauty grabs attention, not devotion. Psychologists studying attraction have consistently found that while physical appearance plays a role in initial interest, it quickly becomes a weaker factor in long-term connection. This is because the human mind adapts. What once felt exciting to the eye becomes familiar, and the emotional bond must be supported by something deeper. Looks can be admired, but they do not hold someone's loyalty on their own. Psychologists confirm looks create spark, but this one trait builds magnetic pull. When you focus entirely on surface attraction, you may get noticed, but without the deeper element, that notice fades. The most attractive people in the world may capture a room instantly, yet without this underlying trait, the room forgets them just as fast. That deeper element is what turns brief encounters into lasting impressions. And, in every case, it comes down to self-respect. The truth. The most attractive trait is self-respect, not confidence, not arrogance. Those can be performances, often loud and sometimes overcompensating. Self-respect is different. It is quiet, steady, and rooted in the way you speak about yourself, treat yourself, and enforce your boundaries. Self-respect says, I know who I am. I don't beg, chase, or shrink. This is not about inflating your worth in someone's eyes. It's about living from a place where you don't hand it over for approval. People with self-respect don't need to prove they are worthy of good treatment. They simply live in a way that assumes it. This creates a type of magnetism that psychology repeatedly identifies as more lasting than any physical feature. What makes self-respect so powerful is how it shapes every interaction. When you operate from it, you automatically filter out behavior, situations, and people that fall below your standards. You conserve your energy for connections that honor you, and that energy becomes unmistakable to others. Even without speaking about it, people sense it, and they respond differently to you as a result. That shift in how people respond becomes even more striking when attraction enters the picture. Men feel this energy instantly. She walks in and doesn't need to be seen. That calm certainty creates curiosity and tension, both of which fuel attraction in ways appearance alone cannot. There is no scramble to be noticed, no extra performance to win approval, and that absence is exactly what draws attention. Studies show men rate self-respecting women as more intimidating, memorable, and attractive, regardless of looks. This is because the mind processes certainty and boundaries as signs of value. When someone treats themselves as valuable, others naturally follow that lead, often without realizing why they are doing it. This shifts the dynamic before words are even exchanged. In social and romantic situations, this presence changes the entire atmosphere. A self-respecting woman's body language, voice, and even stillness communicate a level of internal alignment that is rare. Men in these settings feel the difference immediately, and it often leaves a stronger impression than anything visual. This is the kind of attraction that lingers long after the moment ends. The opposite energy is just as noticeable, and it quietly erodes attraction in ways most people overlook. That is why we should look at how low self-respect leaks, even in pretty people. Low self-respect often shows up in subtle ways: over-explaining, over-apologizing, accepting mixed signals, or laughing at disrespect to keep peace. These actions send signals about how much someone values themselves, even if they look flawless on the outside. You can be stunning and still unattractive if your energy says, "Please pick me." In psychology, this is linked to perceived value. When someone acts as though they are auditioning for acceptance, others often unconsciously lower their level of respect for them, regardless of their beauty. The imbalance between how they look and how they carry themselves creates a disconnect that undermines attraction. In daily life, these small leaks show up in conversations, dating situations, and even friendships. When you overcompensate for fear of being left out or rejected, the underlying message is that you are willing to trade your dignity for connection. Over time, this erodes the very pull you were trying to create and leaves the other person feeling less drawn to invest. There's also a version of this energy that builds attraction naturally, and it shows through in the smallest choices you make. Now, let's talk about what high self-respect actually looks like. High self-respect is visible in actions more than words. It looks like saying no without guilt, walking away without drama, and choosing silence over proving your point. These behaviors communicate a deep internal knowing that approval is not required to validate your choices. Not needing to post quotes about being high value, because you live it, is part of this energy. In psychology, congruence between inner belief and outward action is a key factor in perceived authenticity. When people see that your behavior matches your standards, it signals consistency, which builds trust and attraction. High self-respect creates stability. It eliminates the push-pull of insecurity and shows the other person exactly what they can expect from you. Over time, this consistency becomes more appealing than any moment of physical attraction because it offers something rare: reliability paired with personal strength. Very few people carry themselves this way, which is exactly why it has such an impact. Why this trait is rare and powerful. Most people are performative. They project images of confidence on social media, wear the right clothes, and say the right lines, yet much of it is done for approval. Self-respect is different. It is quiet, unshakable, and earned in solitude, away from any audience. That energy flips every room because it can't be faked and it can't be ignored. Psychologists link this to a concept called non-reactive high value, where a person's sense of worth remains steady regardless of external praise or criticism. This steadiness creates a powerful contrast in environments where most people are scanning for validation. In practical terms, this rarity is what makes self-respect so magnetic. People are naturally drawn to what they seldom see, and when they encounter someone who moves through the world with their value intact, they remember it. This is why self-respect leaves an imprint long after beauty has faded from memory. Beauty may open the door, but self-respect decides who gets to stay. And psychology confirms that's the trait they remember, long after the looks fade. If you have made it this far, comment down below with the word 100% to confirm that you have received the knowledge from this video. For more interesting topics, make sure you watch the recommended video that you see on the screen right now. Thanks for watching.